We're looking at the tiebreakers, Brian. Karakute actually did drop this, one of her series to Palmblad, who has a pretty good record so far, so that's potentially a good tiebreaker. But I mean, at the same time, it's going to be really competitive. A lot of people have some good stuff going on.
Yeah, we're going to see quite a few players with 2 losses who will make it through to the top 8. Karakute is looking like she may be on the cusp. She was sort of in the middle of the pack as far as tiebreakers go for her bracket. It will improve based on her opponent in the last round, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, and same thing with Tonsoku, too, because now his tiebreakers, he only lost to Yulsik and Karakute, who also did really well. So maybe he's end up still being through, too. We'll find out more as we wrap up round number 7 here, as a lot of people are still finishing up their rounds. I believe we're going to go ahead and check in with one of the series currently, which is Crumpled up against Palmblad. We mentioned this series is really impactful. Both these guys on the cusp as well, 4-2. Both these guys have really good tiebreakers. Crumpled only lost to Yulsik and Tom 60229. Palmblad only lost to Lojum and B787. All of them have very good records.
Yeah, these two are actually numbers 2 and 3 in the tiebreaker bracket for the players with 4 and 2 records. The only player above them is actually Pimping Ho. So he's going to be potentially fighting for a possible spot as well. So Palmblad leads this match 2-0 and is now playing the Reno Warlock versus Pirate Warrior. This is a matchup we've seen quite a bit. Palmblad's hand looks pretty good for the matchup. You know, just playing the Tempo Sunfear Protector to contest the board here. Has the Demon Wrath, Imp Gang Boss, and Shadow Bolt to follow it up for removal, and even a Blast Crystal Potion if he really needs it.
Yeah, I do think that it needs a little bit more, though. You know, Blast Crystal Potion's not exactly what you want to see early game. Imp Gang Boss is pretty good, but at the same time, it trades pretty poorly into things like the Korkan Elite. And like you even just noticed as well, sort of Finley picking up the Steady Shot Hero power is massive for this matchup.
Yeah, that's a really, really big factor in the matchup. It ensures that Crumpled has access to damage no matter what his cards are. Even if Palmblad is able to eliminate his board, he's now essentially in a situation where he really needs to find Reno Jackson in order to ensure that Steady Shot won't just whittle him down over time.
Yeah, Bloodsail Cultist being a pretty big factor. Oh, well, a moment of hesitation because there is this opportunity to upgrade the Fiery War Axe damage over the next turn, too, because you have access to the coin. And a Crumple might call an audible here.
Yeah, it's debating the South Sea Captain instead, and it looks like I think it may be what he chooses to go with. There is the risk for him, though, that he loses both of his pirates going into the next turn. If Palmblad has any kind of removal effect, he can choose to take out both of these, essentially, by attacking into the one that he doesn't actually use removal on.
Yeah, this is when you cross your fingers and say, please don't have Hellfire. Please don't have Hellfire. If he has Hellfire, he's in huge trouble, but looks like it's not the case here. He has Demon Wrath instead and Shadow Bolt available at his disposal.
Yeah, either of those could be used by Palmblad to at least remove both the pirates in play. The Shadow Bolt on the Captain plus attacking into Patches will also just give him an additional imp if he wants it. He could cast Demon Wrath and then also clear off the Captain, leaving Sir Finley somewhat damaged as well.
Well, you know one of your opponent's cards is the coin, so you have to worry about 3 more cards at disposal, and this is your only form of area effect up until Twisting Nether. You know, Shadow Bolt always has use, though, and I think Demon Wrath does have a lot of use in this position. If your opponent has more Followed Frothing Berserkers or Bloodsail Cultists, it's not going to be as impactful. You really want to capitalize on what you have right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity to use the Demon Wrath. It looks like it is, in fact, what Palmblad decides to go with. And yeah, this leaves him with a 2-1 Demon and a 1-1 Demon against just Sir Finley and the Heavy Axe. That is a pretty nice draw from Crumpled, though, finding a Korkan that can immediately get damage in and is not contested on the board by that 1-1.
Right, and you know, Palmblad, he has that Shadow Bolt in his back pocket, but doesn't have any other development for it. This is a real crucial question you always ask yourself: do I have to tap in this position? And it looks like he's choosing to.
That was actually, you know, an interesting draw there. The Power Overwhelming picked up by Palmblad. He kind of just immediately went for the Shadow Bolt, but he's going to lose this 1-1 very likely to a weapon, and then doesn't have the Power Overwhelming plus Faceless combo really available to him because he has no minions in play. He could have just used Power Overwhelming on his minion last turn and still had Shadow Bolt for this turn.
Yeah, and now because that Pirate sticks, that Bloodsail Cultist is going to upgrade that Fiery War Axe into a huge weapon.
Yeah, I mean, if Palmblad had used Power Overwhelming last turn, he'd still have Shadow Bolt here. And he could play pretty cleanly Shadow Bolt plus Earth Eating Farseer, clear off the board, and heal up a little bit.
Wow.
So getting kind of punished by just immediately going for the Shadow Bolt play last turn, rather than using the card that he drew for the turn.
Such aggressive life taps as well. You know, Palmblad, to look at him, his deck build is also kind of betraying a little bit. Mountain Giant, very much a liability in matchups that are trying to push the damage. And remember, he's also facing a Hunter Hero Power.
Yeah.
So that life tap is going to count double against him.
On the other hand, though, he's kind of life tapping because he's facing the Hunter Hero Power. He needs to find Reno. And he needs to give himself the window, enough looks at cards in order to actually find Reno. And he's not going to do that drawing one card a turn. So I like the life taps from Palmblad, but I think that he may need to take a little bit more time thinking through his turns.
Yeah, perhaps, but you know,
this turn though, going right to the rope.
What if it went the other way though? What if he fought for board and he has things like Faceless Shambler and maybe he was able to set up a big power overwhelming behind it too? It feels like in some of these positions here, Palmblad might actually just feeling like he's all relying on one card when he has some tools to fight for the board.
Ooh, speaking of tools, Crumpled picks up an Arcanite Reaper. That plus hero power, he can even just Reaper upgrade or Reaper coin hero power and set up lethal for the following turn.
Yeah, I like squeezing in the hero power every single turn. You also hedge your bets in case your opponent has weapon removal to just ooze that first Arcanite Reaper, and then you can actually have a little bit more damage with the Fiery War Axe plus the upgrade.
And you know your opponent's exactly 14, so the Reaper plus hero power over 2 turns is exactly lethal. Just gonna go with Fiery War Axe though. Actually,
okay.
Interesting. He wants to present the minion as well, and he's still gonna use the coin for the hero power. He does get 3 this turn from the weapon, and then another 3 next turn from the minion. Doesn't quite end up exactly adding up, but he does have the upgrade that he can use to go along with it to get to that exact number.
Right. This is in case his opponent has the Reno Jackson on 6.
Yeah, he wants to ensure
some board presence.
Yeah, he wants to ensure that he has the ability to deal more than just the weapon damage the following turn, and have a repeat source of damage in play. Gonna guess this is a 1 here. Fine. I don't think he found any armor. I didn't see one. Oh, he did find armor. Okay, he just went through it so quickly I didn't notice it. But freezing the minion also very good. So that buying Palmblad some of the time he might need. And you know, we see he still has that power overwhelming, so he still can potentially set up power overwhelming plus Faceless Shambler because he has held on to that. Though Crumpled may go for the removal of this minion to protect his board, and that can perhaps continue to strand that power overwhelming Faceless combo.
All right, there's another dead draw here, and Palmblad really feeling the pains of being greedy on his Reno Warlock, which is the reason why he's gotten this far, but is now, you know, stopping him from getting over the finish line at this point.
He's gonna go ahead and life tap. He can't get Reno this turn because he did use that Blast Crystal, only has 7 mana. And I think this is still lethal. Arcanite Reaper plus hero power. Yeah, he's actually 1 damage off.
Yeah, 1 damage off. You can't spread that upgrade damage past the con, unfortunately. But that gives Palmblad 1 draw, and 1 draw only, really, to save him.
Yeah, you can't life tap either. So is it Reno?
No.
No, it is not. And yeah, we're going to be going to a game number 4. As we mentioned, you know, these 2 players he has the healing.
Yeah, he has healing, and he can power overwhelm it, and then he can
oh yeah, no, totally right. Yeah, he can actually make a 7/7 ton. I don't think that's enough though. He goes to 4. He makes a 7/7 ton. It's still not enough to actually get through, keep him alive. Yeah, just go ahead and life tap him to that. Reno, next card. That's like rabbit hunting. You know, if you're like playing poker or whatever, it's like you just deal off the lot. It's like, oh, I would have won.
No,
you didn't win.
That's a Reno Jackson making the debated face right at you, just just giving you the little grin. Wow, right on time or not? I guess that's why you always RSVP on Facebook. Taking a look at the series as a whole now, Palmblad still just has to win 1 more game with Reno Warlock, and Pirate Warrior is eliminated. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Crumpled still has that Dragon Priest out. Dragon Priest is a really interesting deck because a lot of people are sleeping on it, but at the same time, it does have a couple of good matchups. Reno Warlock is not one of them, though. Oh, no, and it's interesting to me that Crumpled, bringing that Dragon Priest, chose to ban Shaman if there's a Warlock in his opponent's lineup, because one of the reasons that you would bring the Dragon Priest, I imagine, is to target the Shaman. So, it's not actually that good against... oh, do we have that? Yeah, we do. Okay, never mind. It's not that good against the Pirate Warrior, actually, unless you have like super heavy tech against Pirate Warrior, because you're just so vulnerable to Fiery War Axe
just being such a massive tempo advantage over your early minions. So it's curious to me that he would choose to bring that, then ban Shaman, and leave Warlock open and just preys upon it terribly.
Yeah, it could just be his own experience feeling like Shaman's just the strongest deck overall, but at the same time, we've been seeing people avoid banning Shaman and have different strategies based off their lineups. Palmblad's opening hand, he's playing an aggressive deck. He has Reno Jackson and Kazakus, even picked up a form of area effect with Hellfire. This is looking like a really good start for Palmblad.
Yeah, this is many of the cards you just put in your opening hand if you could, and has even the ability to potentially just drop something on turn 2 with that Sunfear Protector to just try and contest a little bit of this early board presence from Crumpled. We saw him do that last game against the Pirate Warrior deck, and I would not be surprised to see it here as well.
Yeah, Crumpled having that Naga Corsair build and less on the Hucksters. In fact, the only 2-mana card in his entire deck is Eviscerate, which just goes to show you how polarized some of his draws can be. Very Rat pulls out the Swashbuckler, and losing that value can actually be a big deal.
Not even just the value, the body here is absolutely enormous, and there's actually not that many minions in the opposing deck that are a problem if they come into play for free. It's really just Corsair and Azure Drake that you don't want to see coming down on turn 2. And Palmblad knows there's a bunch of small things, so takes the risk and gets paid off.
Yeah. Well, I guess in the end, if you pull Leroy has to get through the damage anyways, but that shuts off the Shadow Step, so it's a really good pull a lot of the times there. And it looks like Crumple is just gonna try to turn on the heat in this position.
I mean, having to commit Deadly Poison Eviscerate on your opponent's 2-drop is a huge cost. And now Crumpled, that also reduces the number of cards he has available to him to potentially make that Edwin a big fool.
Yeah, Edwin at this point is just going to be a 4/4 minion at best. And Palmblad has a clear right now, and Crumpled pretty much is all in at this point. This is something that the Rogue can struggle with. They run out of gas much faster than almost any other aggro deck if they don't draw any resource generation.
I imagine he's just going to make a 4/4 Edwin here. That card's just getting worse as the game goes on, and his hand empties. It's not like he's playing Miracle Rogue and is going to have some big card draw turn to make it big later. This does put on significant amount of pressure. Aquablad, though, or Palmblad rather, has the Kazakus here that he can use to find himself up 4 damage AoE. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Take out that Edwin Van Cleef. He does have the polymorph as well, which he's got to be at least thinking about the possibility of using, since his opponent is unlikely to have multiple minions in play. Though there is that Argent Squire that can be a big problem. Gain 7 armor, got to be attractive too. Depending on what he took with the first one, I imagine you're taking that or that deal 5 damage. Yeah, it's going to be AoE gain 7. Pretty much the dream potion in this kind of scenario.
Yeah, that is just beyond insane in terms of the value that you're able to get for 5 mana. And, well, I guess with Divine Shield minions, it is a little bit more complicated. You're not clearing the board exactly. All you need to do, though, is survive until the Reno Jackson be able to drop.
Interesting that he chose to play the Argent Squire rather than playing the Horse Rider when he left 2 mana that turn.
I guess just trying to maximize his damage in case his opponent has a Kazakus AoE, because then his Kazakus would trade to 2/1, and then he would lose that instead.
It's true, it's true.
And here's the man of the moment here, Palmblad looking to wrap up the game. Reno Jackson is just going to be contested by a backstab and nothing else.
Yeah,
this game is over.
We've actually seen the aggro rogue so many times in this kind of situation. Playing against a control deck has backstab, and it's like, okay, well this is not good. And yeah, backstab, Deadly Poison. Deadly Poison too kind of underperforms against these control decks as well.
Right.
It doesn't really give you repeated damage, gives you just a couple bursts of a little bit. And yeah, this is attacking your opponent down to 31 and no cards in your hand. This game, it's still going on, but it's over.
Yeah, I mean, the Argent Horse Rider can try as he might. He's got the Reno Warlock on a 15-turn clock. So,
Shadow Boat Mortal Coil it?
Sure,
yeah, that's exactly what's
why
going to
not?
happen. I'm going to ensure that there's nothing in play for you. Try to go for the flawless victory here. Even has Siphon's able to gain some life if Crumpled deigns to play another minion.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, God.
Crumpled is out of answers and out of time, and then that's going to come to an end of his run. He's 4-2 and 4-3. There's no possible way to get through. And Palmblad, I mean, we're looking at tiebreakers already. Just to remind you guys, he lost to Lojum and B787, both players that have very good records in the Swiss.
Yeah, Palmblad was toward the upper half. Both these players, as we said, toward the upper echelon. Yeah, there's a concession. So Palmblad, he's got 5 wins, 2 losses. Very strong tiebreakers. He's got a really good shot at making that top 8.
Yeah, and doesn't really surprise us that yet another good Korean performance coming out from that region. So wrapping up round number 7, we're almost at the very end. So let's go ahead and head over to TJ and Admirable, who have got some news for us, hopefully.
We do. It looks like we do have the brackets ready. We've been informed that we do have a top 8 cut. The tiebreakers have been determined, and I'm excited to see who's going to make it in. Admirable. It's been a fun day so far, but there it is. There's the bracket for the top 8 tomorrow. Big stories here. Sweep coming in as the number 1 seed. He swept the Swiss rounds with a 7-0 score throughout the 7 rounds. And then, of course, we did get word that Karakute, who we saw on stream, she finished 9th, barely missing out on those tiebreakers.
Yeah, Yolsik claiming that 8th spot, though. 1 round away from making another championship appearance for himself. I think that's a big one. And Lojum came with that weird lineup, like completely anti-aggro. Gundam Flame here as well. He's full aggro. Tom, one of the most consistent players to come out of the Asia-Pacific region, and Palmblad finding himself, again, 1 round away from that championship appearance from the Bahamas. This is a stacked top 8 for Asia-Pacific.
And then Yolsik sneaking in there with the number 8 seed, making it through on tiebreakers. I know he's going to be ecstatic, but the big story here is Lojum with that crazy lineup. He made it all the way.
Yeah, and what a crazy lineup it is. Again, he just pulled in pure anti-aggro in order to stop Pirate Warrior and an aggro shaman almost specifically. I mean, if you think about it, they can't go face if you just taunt up. Super smart.
It's true. It's true. And we're going to go ahead and get the rest of the gang's thoughts on these this top 8 in the bracket for tomorrow. Hey guys,
Really? Couldn't save it for Trinity Series, TJ? Just had to come out now.
They have to make us all look bad.
Guys, we have a top 8 here with some familiar faces and some new faces. Talk to me about some of your favorite things. I'm going to go ahead and give the easy answer to Kibler because I know he's been talking about it all day. Who's the guy to watch for top 8?
I mean, I'm super excited, like they said, to see Lojum here. He is playing against B787 in the first round, who just beat him 3-0 in the final round of Swiss. So he may have found sort of the secret weakness of the lineup, or maybe he just doesn't have that many aggressive decks. But I really want to see that match tomorrow. I think it's going to be a nice one.
All right, Lothar?
Well, I'm pretty happy about Gundam Flame going into the top 8. That was my prediction.
I'm sure you are.
But Kara unfortunately ended up being 9th.
Hey, you got the number 7 and number 9 seeds. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, being able to get to the top 10, a job well done. Cora, anything that comes out that sticks out to you?
Obviously, you want to see how Lojum's anti-aggro lineup is going to do, but I'm really excited to see Yolsik again, to see if he can come back and make it back to the top 4.
And as for me, how can I forget my brother-in-arms, Tom60229, often called the Frodan Doppelganger, or maybe they're just going to call me Dan60229. Definitely my player to watch. 3 years, he's making deep runs for championships, and maybe a spot at BlizzCon would be a fantastic opportunity to see that, and joining Teray as maybe the 3-year club member. Let's go ahead and head over back to TJ to wrap up the day, and final thoughts on a fantastic day number 1 for the ACT Winter Playoffs for APAC.
Thanks so much, Dan 60229 and Admirable. It's been such a fun day. You know, it's been crazy. It's late for us. It's been 12 hours of Hearthstone, but I couldn't have enjoyed it more.
It's same. I mean, this is what the Hearthstone Championship Tour is all about: is these tournaments, these competitions, the big days, seeing the breakout names, and seeing the consistent performers time and again prove themselves worthy.
All right, let's go and take a look at what we can see in store for us tomorrow.